We were in the basement, and they actually held me down. They held my arms, held my legs. It was like four guys that was holding me down, like that. And the other guy called himself trying to stick a broomstick in my behind. But with the ridicule, guys would ask, so how are you gonna tell your kids you lost your virginity? What, to a mob? And then I started noticing that a few years later, I started having conquests with a lot of women that were either bisexual or flat out lesbians. That's what I'm realizing now. I'm starting to look at my male friends. And like, why am I getting aroused? I had a real conversation with God. And I said, God, I love sin. I love having sex. I was like, sex feel good. I was like, it's not gratifying me like I know your presence would.
What the church won't say.
You are plugged into what the church won't say.
Well, we have difficult conversations at the foot of the cross.
And today is going to be especially a difficult conversation because I got my brother here, Lawrence Terrell, a.k.a. LT.
Right,
and my brother has a radical testimony of overcoming lust. I know that lust caused you to lose your wife, and then you overcame it and went back and got your bride. Yes. And I want to hear about that. But first, before we get into that, please tell me, man, how did lust start in your life?
Well, it started, it didn't actually start when I was young, but church was like everything to it for me. From second and third grade, I remember witnessing to classmates, to fourth and fifth grade, witnessing to classmates.
So you was raised as a Christian?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, through and through.
Through and through, okay.
Was reading the word at night, was praying with my mom, I actually wanted to wait till I got married before, I wanted to bring virginity to my wife.
Awesome. So what changed? How did you get off this straight and narrow into lust?
My freshman year in high school, I got through a curveball. I actually got molested in high school.
Really?
Yes.
Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, sure. I was on a wrestling team, and it was a time where we possibly should have had a coach or someone watching us. And we, 13, 14, 15-year-olds, 16, 17-year-olds, we were in the basement, and they actually held me down. They held my arms, held my legs. It was like four guys that was holding me down, like that. And the other guy called himself trying to stick a broomstick in my behind.
So hold on, man. Was this supposed to be a prank? Was this supposed to be them just being mean-spirited? Why would somebody do that?
Probably more so a prank, and I think it went too far.
Gotcha.
Gotcha.
So how did that affect you afterwards?
At that age, I really didn't know the effect of it. Still coming from, just my church upbringing, I wanted to forgive them. They said they were sorry, so I kind of wanted to forgive them and just get on with my life. But I realized that something shifted within me. And my parents asked me, do you want to go to, you want to get a therapist? And, back in those days, when you see a therapist in the early 90s, you think about Tinley Park with a straight-jacket.
Right.
So I'm like, no.
It was taboo.
I'm going to figure it out. I'm good. Right. My mother, she asked me a couple of times, but, you can't really expect a 14, 15-year-old to understand the psychological, traumatic experience is going to shift things in their life. So there was definitely a shift.
Gotcha.
And I noticed that the kids actually got suspended for 5 days, but they probably should have got expelled, and they probably should have had criminal charges put on them.
Absolutely.
And
so did this get out in the high school? Was this a rumor?
It got out through the whole high school.
Oh, wow.
So when the whole entire high school found out my name, they ridiculed me. And it got to the point that I actually wanted to go up to the school and take one of my father's shotguns and blow their brains out. And I really had to just really cry out to God, and I kind of asked God to take that hatred out of me, and I believe that he did, but, it was surface.
Right. So I'm sure at high school you were being mistreated because of this. Did this open up something?
It was just the ridicule.
Yeah.
The ridicule, like, I get what they talk about the bullying now, but it was just like a whole nother level because something traumatic happened to me.
Absolutely.
And instead of people saying, comforting me, they ridicule. Kids can be vicious.
Oh yeah.
And
Kids are mean.
they definitely took off running with it, and they saw a line of gasoline. They was trying to light their fire.
So tell us, man, how did this open the door to lust? What did that look like back then?
I started. My imagination shifted to the point that I wanted to start seeing developed women a lot more. I wanted. I kind of got a hold to some Penthouse magazine, Playboy magazines, and just the wheels was turning.
And I'm not going to completely blame the situation because that's around the time where boys start to veer and be curious about their sexuality anyway. So I'm sure that didn't help, but that's the beginning of your hormones kicking in.
I still had in the back of my mind that I wanted to save my virginity for my wife, but with the ridicule, guys would ask, so how are you going to tell your kids you lost your virginity? What, to a mop? And so it was just like, okay,
kids are cruel.
So I felt like I got to have sex to get these people off my back.
I get it.
Yeah.
Some type of validation, and you're identifying with being a man. I get it. Yeah.
So I started looking for opportunities. Like I need to hurry up and have an opportunity because the jokes, like, every time I would come into the locker room were getting worse. And I couldn't really tell anybody about it, Yeah. And then it's like I knew something had to change, so I figured, like, let me find a prostitute.
Oh wow.
Let me find a prostitute, because the first opportunity that I actually did have to be intimate with a girl is so embarrassing. I staged where I got locked out of my house, and I went over to her. But if my parents wasn't at home, I would have to just stay up here with a woman that would watch us. And I knew she had a family over there already.
Okay.
So it was a girl like a year older than me over there, and I knew she was kind of easy, And so I was like, I'm gonna get myself locked out, and I'm gonna go over there. I'm gonna spend the night, and I'm gonna shoot my shot. So I shot my shot. I'm talking to her and everything. She like, okay, cool. She took her panties off. I took my underwears off. I don't know what I'm doing. She says, go under the covers. So I go under the covers, and I'm like, I see it for the first time. I'm like, what is that? What is that? And I'm like, I need some help. And she's like, I did everything I would do. Right. It's all on you now. And I'm like, wow. So the one opportunity that I had to, get some bragging rights, I fumbled the bag at the goal line.
At the one.
I was supposed to go to give it the beast mode.
Well, we look at it as God was keeping you, helping you keep yourself, man.
Yeah, that could have been a child, or who knows.
Right. So you decided to lean into getting a prostitute.
Yes.
Tell us about that. How did that go?
Growing up on 63rd, near Dane, man, you saw it often, especially around Ashland, around Western, especially walking up and down 63rd Street. So, one day I just walked to him. I was like, man, if I did want to do something with you, what would you charge? She was just like, $15. And I'm like, all right, cool. So I wasn't working yet, but I was saving my money.
So kids save money for gym shoes, video games, and you saving up.
Man, I'm finna get this. I'm finna knock this one out the park. I'm like,
I ain't gonna fumble this one.
So I was like, and in my mind, I'm trying to go to someone my age. They won't help me.
Right.
I'm gonna go to a woman that I know is gonna help me. I'm gonna pay for the help. Right. So I paid for the help, and it happened, and I heard that song in my ear. Whole new world. So I didn't realize, but that was the beginning of the end.
Yeah.
Because it took me down a path that I didn't recover from until probably like a year and a half ago.
So let's fast forward 5-10 years later. You've been having sex. What is that looking like for you at this point?
5-10 years from
After
that
you-
age,
yes.
I still have not been in a committed relationship. I've only been having conquest. So it was like the first couple of years, it was probably like maybe 20 to 30 women.
Okay.
Next year is maybe like 100, 150 women. Next year after that, it's like 300-400 women.
So I want to ask you this: as this is going on, and these women are stacking up, the body count is stacking up. God, I'm sure, is still pulling at your heart. What is that looking like? Your wrestle, because you've raised one way and you radically going the other way. So how is that looking?
I'm still going to church, and if I could go back to when I was 19, I tried to get into the Air Force. So I had sex the first time when I was 15, and I'm about at maybe 400 or 500 different women by the time I'm 19. I go to Texas to, start trying to work out, because at the time I got asthma, and I'm trying to see if I can handle that climate. And come to find out I wasn't able to handle that climate, so I wound up just staying in Texas. So now I'm back in church wholeheartedly. I've been abstaining for 6 months, and my relationship is going back good with God. So I'm like, the turned over new leaf. I'm going to church consistently. My auntie is just like my mother, and she on fire for God. So I kind of pick up. My prayer life starts back getting strengthened. I literally start going in my closet to pray.
Okay.
It's going good. Then I get a job out there and everything, and I'm getting ready to try to go to school out there, and that's when it was a monkey wrench.
What happened?
For me to go to school in Texas, because I had an out-of-state ID, they wanted to charge me, tuition and stuff. But and I didn't ever think just get a Texas license, because I have a house that I stay at and everything. I never correlate. I was just like, I'm just gonna go back to Chicago and go back to junior college there. So I come back to Chicago, and it's like, because I was gone for a minute, it's like all the women that weren't giving me no rhythm was like, man, I'm gonna give you some rhythm now. You look different. And so it just kind of opened up that door again.
Yeah.
And then I started seeing this. I can literally say I understand the scripture that says, when the demon get cast out of you, it goes back to and fro. Look at where it could go. Then it comes back to that house that it was at. Like, oh, it's swept and garnished in here. And it comes back with 7 demons worse. In that state, the latter state is worse than the first state. I can literally say that's what transpired.
And so what did your latter state look like now?
My latter state went from when I turned 21, I started actually throwing orgy parties. And since I talked to a lot of women, I had the gift of gab. I would talk to them and tell them about, man, I'm finna invite these guys over. Because growing up, I would always hear about the lockdowns. I'm not really into strippers. That's tease,
Right.
I'm good on that, that's playing with me. So we either gonna do it or we not, Right. So I would talk to these women, and I would ask them, have they ever had any experience with another woman, or would they be open to that? And majority of them said no, and they wouldn't be open to that. So I'm like, you smoke, you drink, and they like, yeah. All right, well, it's gonna be some weed here. There's gonna be some drinks here. There's gonna be some guys here. We're gonna be at a hotel room. So what happens to the stays here? And they like, well, I ain't doing nothing, but I'll come. So they would come. I would get like one or two women that were bisexuals. Then I would get like 3-4 women that were heterosexual. And then I would get one woman that straight just want women. And then I would get like 2-3 of my guys to come. And they started just going good. The first one was just like, the first one actually was a fail.
Okay.
Because the hotel was like, y'all can't have more than 2 people.
Okay.
But the next hotel we picked, it was a success. And everybody's like, man, you need to start doing this every week.
It almost sounds like, and this is just in my opinion, God is always trying to give you an opportunity to get out of it. The first time you try to lose your virginity was a fail. but you push through.
Right.
And God will never override your will.
That's true.
But it almost seemed like he was trying to give you
I didn't
out.
even think about it like that.
And the same thing with now you're about to open up the doggone barn doors of lust with these orgy parties, and you sure you want to do this, and he giving you that opportunity, but again, you kept going.
And for the orgy parties, I only did like one successfully.
Okay.
So then the other times, I'm again like in my early 20s. So now I'm at the point now, I'm gonna say about in my mid 20s, right? About 26, 27, and I finally get my own place. I start talking to a lot of women that either were fully lesbian or they were, teetering on becoming fully lesbian. And so because I was able to talk with them and have good conversations with them, and I can even empathize with them on a molestation point of view, it kind of opened up doors to where they were more open to me. And they was like, you know what, if I'm gonna get a sex to anybody, I'm gonna give it to you, Terrell. You talk to me, you listen to me, look at me like a piece of meat. I'm gonna spend the night with you tonight. So I'm excited because I'm like, these are very attractive women, and ain't no guy had them for a couple of years. So it's almost like in my mind, like a virgin all over again, right? What I didn't understand was I was opening myself up to a homosexual spirit.
Explain that.
I noticed I started having these conquests with the women from the orgies.
Okay.
Right? Then I started noticing that a few years later I started having conquests with a lot of women that were either bisexual or flat out lesbians. And I'm realizing that now I got the notch on the backs and I'm bragging to my guys, but I'm realizing now I'm starting to look at my male friends. And like, why am I getting aroused? Why am I thinking about him like that? And I'm like, where is this coming from? And now, I done had a couple of dreams. So I'm like, hey, what's
going on?
What's to this?
Yeah.
So I'm realizing now I don't have anyone safe around me that I can have these conversations with because I do not want to act on this, but I'm realizing these thoughts are real. They're scaring me. They're so real. Because it's like part of my body wants to act on it. But from my upbringing in church, that's like a taboo and that's a no-no.
Absolutely.
But
it's funny you say that because I think about the temptation of Jesus in Luke 4.
Yeah.
And the devil telling him to jump off the cliff. The Bible says the angels will keep you, won't even let your foot dash against a stone.
Yeah.
And I think people look at that and they just say, okay, whatever. No, he was actually going to commit suicide. And I think sometimes the enemy don't know what we'll fall for, so he just throw everything in the kitchen sink and see what we fall for. And some people just end up taking the bait and being deceived, and now they say I'm gay or I'm bisexual. But I don't think we actually know where the thought originated from. It was someone seeing if you'll take the bait.
I can agree with that wholeheartedly, and I can also say I was able to correlate in my mind that you just slept with like 4-5 bisexual, lesbian, persuasion women. Yeah. And you've been in quite a few orgies up until that point. So this is what they call it, soul ties. And their spirits are jumping off of them and they're jumping on you. But I'm realizing like I need to talk to somebody about this, but I also recognize at that point there was nobody in my church I could talk to. My church is kind of small and close knit, and I felt like if I shared that, I would get outcast, like I had got outcast in high school. Yeah. And so I had one male friend that I shared it with, and he was like, "Man, you gotta be careful sharing that." He's like, "I'm gonna pray for you," but he was just like, "You on the demonic attack." And
unfortunately, most churches are not even equipped to handle that type of issue or conversation, unfortunately. But
that's true.
Yeah. But go on, brother. So how did that issue with lust lead you to finding your wife?
Okay, so I'm at 27. I'm realizing now I'm sleeping with anywhere from 400 to 500 to 600 women a year, right? And I got my business now.
So this is a job for you.
Yeah, I'm at this point where I'm sleeping with three to 4 women a day.
Wow.
Every day. And I'm making money at that time now every day. I'm running actually my own business, and I'm making $300 to $500 every day.
Okay.
So I got the money to blow. And I'm realizing sometimes women just like, man, I just need my light bill paid. Man, here go $50. You know what I'm saying? Or I want to go out and I want to, man, how much does that cost?
Right.
How about I just give you the $75?
Right.
You know, they come on with it. So, you know, it was just like, it was an urge I kept trying to feed. So I'm realizing I'm putting everything in a God-sized hole except God. I put the money in it. I put the cars in it. I put the notoriety in it. I put the women in it. I put everything in it except the relationship with God.
Yeah.
And I realized instead of me feeding it and getting smaller, I'm feeding and it's getting bigger.
Yeah.
Fast forward, I meet a lady. I'm on tag, and we started talking, and I realized that her conversation was different from any other woman I've ever met in my life. And she would be one of the women I always say is saved for real.
Gotcha.
I'm like, you saved for real? On our first date, we went to Beggar's Pizza, and she told me, she came there, she went to the restaurant with me, and we're eating, well, I'm eating, and she said, I'm just gonna drink some water. And she said she was fasting. So I was like, wow. I'm like, oh, so you consecrate, huh? And she looked back, she stepped back like, what you know about consecration? I'm like, oh, I'm with it. You know
Okay.
So
that intrigued you, I'm sure.
That
'Cause
definitely,
that's taking you back to your roots.
because I'm sitting there like, I don't want to fumble this.
Right.
I'm like, I just found somebody that's real with God, you know. And so, and just to push it a step further, you know, if you didn't put out, you know, after a certain period of time, I was Gucci.
Yep.
I'm good.
I can relate.
I'm straight. This ain't worth it. You know, I gotta see what's going on. And so instantly, that wasn't even a thought. But it was a dysfunctional thought in my mind where, okay, don't get it from her, but get it from everybody else. But keep her close to you.
Right.
Which was toxic, which was dysfunction.
Absolutely.
Right?
Was she aware that you was still sleeping with other women?
Yes.
Okay.
Because a few people that I did try to talk to, come to find out, were co-workers, granddaughters, or siblings or cousins of people that she worked with or friends.
Okay.
Come to find out, everybody knows. Everybody knew her. Everybody. And that's when Facebook was just starting up.
Gotcha.
Where mutual friends, and they'll see we mutual friends, and I'm talking to wait, that's my guy. And I'm like, this woman know everybody.
Wow.
So
So she's aware.
she's aware of that, but we never actually made it official to the point that we was in a relationship.
Got it. I got it. So y'all still dating.
We knew each other for, I want to say 9.5, but it was actually 8.5 weeks, and we got married.
Oh, wow. Wow. So I'm going to ask you this that I like to ask the most men. What was it at that point in time where you was like, this is my wife?
I'm take you back. I was taking her to work. Like, I wouldn't even sleep in the bed with her or anything. I would actually sleep on the floor. I would sleep on her couch. You know, up to that point. And I was taking her to work one day because she would normally catch the bus to work. You know, she stayed in Harvey, and you know, going out to Orland Park. And so I was like, you know, I'll just sleep here. And then, because we went to a late show, and I was like, you know, she was like, you can't sleep in my bed. I said, I know, I'm sleeping on the floor. She's like, nah. First I told her I'm sleeping in the car. She's like, nah, you come and sleep on the couch. So I slept on the couch. And as I'm taking her to work, I'm like, man, I heard this song from Fred Hammond. You told me you love me. Make up your mind. She said, I'll be right back. She went in the house, grabbed It's Time, you know, that CD. Commission CD.
Yeah.
She put it in the player, and she was like, and she played the song, Running Back to You, and I'm up there crying. And right then and there, I was like, I'm gonna marry her.
Wow. Wow.
And
You knew it.
yeah,
Was it because she was trying to connect you back to your God?
it was something that kind of reminded me of my mother. It kind of reminded me of an authentic relationship. And up until that point, even now, she has never seen me as a dollar sign.
Wow. So y'all 9 months, you said 9 weeks in, y'all get married. Is that right?
8.5, yeah.
8.5.
Same?
Yeah. 8.5 weeks, y'all get married.
Yes.
But you don't know nothing about marriage to that degree.
No, not.
So have you even had a serious relationship up to that point?
I could say yeah, but it was just sexual.
Okay.
It was just sexual.
So nothing.
Because
nothing.
the woman was like, I'm going to give you as much sex as you want, but she basically told me you'll never have my heart because I got hurt and I never give a man my heart again.
So you've never had a healthy relationship. So this is your first one. When you got married.
Yeah, when I got married, I was going into it thinking this is going to be healthy.
Right.
But because I did not do the work and I brought toxic, I brought dysfunction, I brought, hurt. I brought, as everybody found, I didn't want to be accountable. I didn't want to be responsible. I brought all that into the marriage.
Wow. And what did that look like?
That looked like I'm gonna make her do the work, and since she's serving God, she gonna take whatever I give her. So I had the mindset of a single man.
So you took advantage of her goodness.
I did more to take advantage. I trampled her under my feet, and I regretted that, But I realized that hurt people actually do hurt people.
Yeah.
And I realized also that I have never seen a healed, whole relationship in my life. So to ask me to emulate something that I've never seen is kind of impossible.
Yeah, absolutely.
I wasn't taught it, didn't see it.
So tell us about the depths of the dysfunction. Yeah, you was mistreating her.
I was mistreating her.
Was there infidelity?
She would be upstairs in the bedroom, and I'd be sneaking other women down in the basement, sleeping with her.
Oh, in the same house while she's there. You bold in your sin.
Yeah, I was trying to get killed, pretty much.
Yeah. Did you ever get caught?
That was the time I almost got caught.
Okay, but she never caught you officially then.
She never caught me. She kind of did catch me one time. I was supposed to pick her up from work. I asked my brother-in-law to pick her up from work, and I did. I called my brother-in-law like, "Hey, can you pick your sister up?" He was like, "Cool." So I'm like, I made a call, grabbed the girl, brought her to the room. My wife, I guess, was just calling me just to check in with me, let me know, her brother-in-law picked up. I had put this new thing in my phone with auto answer, and I had my earpiece. If I had my earpiece in my ear, I put it to auto answer.
So the answer automatically.
The chick that I was with was like, "Take your earpiece out, take your Bluetooth out." So I sit it on the table. My phone auto answers while I'm with this chick.
And your wife hear it all.
My wife hears it all. So when I put the earpiece back on my ear, my wife like, "Oh, I heard everything." I'm like, "What you talking about?" She like, "So where you at?" I'm like, I just went to the room and I'm watching the flick." She like, "I know your voice."
So were you guys just talking or was you doing more? That's the question.
We finished.
Wow, so she heard everything.
Everything. She said that, listen to everything. I was just like,
goodness.
So this is what really like let me know you're dysfunctional, you're toxic, and probably need to, figure this out because the lust was really killing me. When I came home that night, my wife said, "I know you probably shouldn't be in this house anymore," but she was like, "I need you to hold me." I just held her that whole night.
Wow.
And I was just like, I don't even deserve this woman. Even during our dysfunction, she was still yet praying for me. She was fasting a lot. I had got shot. I had got locked up. I mean, when I say this lust was trying to actually take me out,
So how long did she endure
We were
your
married.
nonsense? Yeah.
We were married for 6 years,
Okay.
and
She finally said enough is enough.
enough is enough. And then those 9, and then so the next 9 years, because we got a divorce in 2016.
And let me ask you that, man, because a lot of time they say you miss your well when the water runs dry. So you knew you had a good thing. You fumbled your wife.
Yes, I did.
How did that make you go back into those streets? Did you go back ferociously? Did you tiptoe back in? Did you want your wife back?
Let me see. If it was like a 10-foot pool of water, I got on the diving board and jumped in that joker head first. Look, I jumped in. The song I heard, I was jumping in. I living my best life. I ain't going back.
All right.
So, yeah, I actually, it's almost like Satan was like, it's a call on his brother life. So I'm going to have to give him everything that I can to divert him from answering that call.
Yeah.
Because stuff got so much easier. Like I went from making the $300 to $400 a day to now for like the next 6-7 years. Whenever my wife would come around, I'm changing houses now. So I went from like, renting a house to renting a little rinky-dink, house to a nice house now, to another nice house, to now I bought 2 houses now. To, I went from just one old used truck to now I got 3 vehicles, to now I got 5 vehicles, to now I got 6 vehicles. And now, I'm just, babe, I'm finna send you $500, go get your brakes done. She like, wait, what? I'm like, it's nothing, because now I'm making, especially with COVID kicking in, I'm making anywhere from $5,000 to $10,000 a week now.
Wow. So I know there's always a rock bottom
Yes.
in sin. What did rock bottom look like for you?
Rock bottom for sin was realizing that I was a dysfunctional, toxic father. I was a dysfunctional, toxic husband. I was dysfunctional, now divorced, dysfunctional, toxic son, dysfunctional, toxic sibling, dysfunctional, toxic friend. That was rock bottom, and it didn't matter how much money I had, because at that time, I think I was sitting on probably about 6 figures. And I realized the money don't matter, the cars don't matter. Like, I could...
What brought you to that place where you realized that?
Everything that I wanted to get, I had. And that hole was like, it seemed like bottomless. And I would try to read the word, and I couldn't remember scripture past. Open it up, reading it, reciting it, close the Bible, that scripture was gone.
Wow.
So it's like nothing godly would stick. I would go to church, and before I get back to my car, forget the whole entire sermon. So the word was not sticking at all, and that was rock bottom, because I did not feel his presence for anything. Not a prayer, not me crying. And I'm like, I'm doomed to hell. And that's really how I felt. Like, and I felt like, Satan was saying, just keep enjoying all this what I'm giving you. Forget about that. And I'm like, but what you giving me not satisfying me. And like, I could sleep with 5 women this day, and I wake up tomorrow like I ain't had sex all year. So there was no real gratification. The sin was a delusion, like it says in Hebrews the 2nd chapter. The sin is deceitful. And then I just started gravitating to certain scriptures that the wages of sin is death. And if you sow to the flesh, you reap corruption. And so I'm like, I'm reaping corruption. I'm seeing a lot of death. And I'm like, the sin is real deceitful. So I'm realizing that everything I'm building my house on is on my foundation right now is quicksand. And the storm gonna come. The storm comes for the person who builds their house on a rock, and the storm comes for the person that builds their house on sand. The storm is consistent.
Absolutely.
For both. But I'm realizing one of those houses stand.
Yeah.
The other one, it gets destroyed. So I'm like, God, I'm building stuff on my house, my money, everything that I bring to the table. I'm building it on quicksand.
So is that what sparked change?
That's what sparked change. It's like the light bulb came on.
And what did you do with that opportunity when God was convicting and pulling on your heartstrings?
I had a real conversation with God, and I said, God, I love sin. I love having sex. I was like, sex feel good. I was like, it's not gratifying me like I know your presence would. Like, up until that point, the most impactful warmth, presence of God that I had ever felt up to that point was when I was locked up, when I was fellowshipping with brothers in jail. So I was like, God, do I have to get locked up again to experience that?
Wow.
Because going to church, I wasn't experiencing that. I wasn't experiencing camaraderie, fellowship, discipleship, brothers talking to me, brothers praying for me when I share something, not just gossiping about me. So I'm like, do I have to get locked up to experience what this book of Acts is talking about?
Wow.
You know, so I was like, God, I want change. You know, sex ain't doing it no more. You know, and let's be honest, the sex never did it. I just wasn't open to that light bulb being turned on, you know, and leaving darkness behind me. You know, I wasn't open to it.
Wow. How did you find your way? Because I think a lot of men get lost in that moment right there. They feel like they can't go to the church, or the churches are not equipped, or men are not gathering consistently and holding each other accountable. So how did you find your path to stay aligned with God?
Something actually happened a year before that, and Holy Spirit brought it back to my remembrance. My last truck, because I was doing scamming and stuff too. When money would be funny, I was doing scamming, CPNs and stuff like that, where I would get the cars, so I would get 30, 40,000 and stuff like that. So my last vehicle that I had just got, nice truck, Dodge Ram. Oh my God, it was nice, fully loaded, leather seat. It got repoed. And so I took like the last of my money out the house to get me the vehicle, to get a Santa Fe. Because I'm like, you know, I'm in Gary, I got to get back and forth, and in Gary, the bus ain't going to get me to Chicago.
Right.
So I'm like, I have to have something. So I got a vehicle, and wouldn't you know it, it had a CD player. So I'm like, wow, I ain't seen a CD player in like years. So I'm like, man, I got a case in my house of the Bible experience.
Okay. So
I was like, God, I don't listen to your word. I don't read your word. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna start taking a CD out a day, because I'm going back and forth to the city every day. So what I started doing, I started listening to the Bible. And so I did that for like a few months till I finished listening to the whole Bible. Majority of it. I'm not gonna say I finished the whole thing, and what I realized is it started working. It started planting seeds. And eventually I started thinking about it from time to time.
Come on.
And that word, I started dwelling on it a little bit. And then, you know, I was having questions, but I didn't really have anybody around at that particular point in time that I felt comfortable asking those questions.
Yeah.
You know, and just being vulnerable, telling them where I was at. Because I realized I was just out there bad.
Yeah.
I was out there. I kind of felt like I was unredeemable.
Really?
Because I grew up in church, and I took off running full speed in the opposite direction, what I knew not to do.
Yeah.
And then I wanted to blame God for me being molested. I wanted to blame God for my father not doing the things that I felt that he should have did. I wanted to blame God for getting shot. I wanted to blame God for a failed marriage. I wanted to blame God for not really having an opportunity to be in my child's life like I wanted to. I wanted to blame God for not even having a good opportunity to be in my second daughter's life. So it was just like I wanted to blame God for everything, but then I realized that I'm pointing all these fingers at God, and I'm like, when are you gonna point the finger at you? Because all these situations can change, but you have to realize that I'm not the one going through them. You are. And everything you're doing is based on choices that you decided to make.
Yeah.
So at what point are you going to be accountable? Because he said, you know what? I feel like me and God kind of talked. And he said, I'm going to give you your teenage years. I'm going to even give you your 20s. That, yeah, you got molested. Check. Your father, you know, wasn't as supportive as you would have liked. Check. Okay. What about your 30s and 40s, though? Because he said, I'm gonna give you them 20 years. But what about these last 15, 20 years? Who is that on? And it's like, when I felt like he asked me that question, it's like, that's when like my heart sunk. Because I'm like, it's on me.
Yeah.
It's on me. And
That's a place too. I don't want to just bypass that. It's on me is a pivot moment, because I feel like most people that blame God could never see the role they played in their own defeat.
that's good, bro.
You know, and so the it's on me is, to me, is a very good opportunity to pivot. Listen, this world is unfair.
Yes.
We can't control the cards we're dealt, but we can control how we play them. And I think sometimes we're so caught up on that we ain't got no spades, or we don't have what we want in our hand,
Right.
that we play reckless. And that's the part where I think when you be like, well, you know what, I'm gonna control what I can control. I'm gonna play this the best of my ability. And that to me that's an opportunity to change. But go ahead, brother.
That part right there is like when the light bulb came on, and I started going to church, and the church I'm going to now is the church that my ex-wife went to for divorce care. So she told me that the pastor had asked her about me, because she was like, she went to divorce care 2 years in a row. She said it was good. She got some healing from it. And so she was like, well, they came here for divorce care. At least let me catch one of their services. And so she was able to shake the pastor's hand. Name of the church, Disciples Church.
Okay.
She was able to shake the pastor's hand. His name was Pastor Jerry. And she introduced herself. And when she introduced herself, he said, "You're Lauren's wife."
Oh.
And so she was like, you know, this big old church, and you remember? She was like, "Oh yeah, I read your letter. Tell your husband we have a life group here that we would love to have him, and we could talk to him about some of the issues that he's dealing with."
Wow.
So I'm like, wow. I'm like, how big is the church? And she, you
Right.
know, so she like, so you know me, like, man, I ain't gonna go, but I guess eventually God was working. So year and a half passed. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna take my wife up on that offer. So I went to the church. I got the address from her again. I went to the church, and I went in 2022 in November. I'm like, man, this is good. And just to give a little background, I had actually me and my wife were going to the same church. We got divorced in 2016. I was still going to the same church, but her family was there. Her brother was a minister there, and you know, we weren't really seeing eye to eye.
Yeah.
And that kind of...
You mistreated his sister, so that's going to be...
And then her nieces was there, her sister-in-law was there. So, and then a lot of people kind of knew her.
Yeah.
And I just kind of felt like I couldn't get a fair shake. I just felt like I was getting judged a lot.
You think?
Hey, I understand.
Right.
And so I was like, man, I need to go to another church. But I had stopped going to church for like a few months. But during that time, God was still working, because that's why I was listening to the Bible, you know, while I was driving back and forth to the city from Gary. And in that process, I'm like, I'm going to give this church a chance. And I went for about, say, a year. And I brought a young lady with me over there, you know, that I was, you know, dealing with at the time. And she joins before me. So, you know, I'm like, you know, you're going to call it a little righteous indignation. Like, how you going to join my church before me? And I brought you. Right. So let me join too. Let me go to Growth Track too. Right. Let me start volunteering too.
So you're doing this not because God called you to, but more so out of pride. Interesting. Okay.
And that's when it shifted.
What shifted?
I started hearing God's voice more clearly, because I started paying attention to the services and the word that was being preached. There was no hooping and hollering at all. It was just the word being told.
So I want to ask you something, because I heard you say that you're listening to the word. Did you ever get to a place where you read it, or you just still just listening?
Just listen.
So I say that that's good, because I think a lot of people, some people have problems paying attention or locking in when they read. And I'm glad you didn't give yourself an excuse. Instead, with all this technology, none of us have any excuse.
That's true.
To get God's word in them. So I commend you for that, bro.
So I'm listening to the word, and I'm realizing now I had shifted back into like the orgies and the sex groups and stuff like that. And I'm realizing, like, At this point, I now have access to about 300 to 400 different women. I could just call whoever, whenever, however, and I'm like, you want a woman today? What race you want? And stuff like that. And I'm like, it's a little bit, this is some demonic, real toxic control right now I got. And I'm like, it's not fulfilling. I don't like this. And so I had that moment with God. I was like, God, I need help in this situation, right? And so he was like, go to church more. So I started going to church more, and they have Habitat for Humanity at our church where you volunteer. I went to that a couple of times to try to connect with the men. And when you know it, I get more connected with the women there.
Well, I would know it.
So I didn't do anything wrong, with the women. But I realized
you could relate.
Yeah, I could talk in the comments, and the guys were just on one point. But what they was doing, I was like, I don't feel comfortable doing. I felt comfortable doing. The women was putting insulation inside.
Yeah.
And the guys was putting the siding on the outside. I'm like, I ain't climbing on the ladder. So I'm like, I guess I ain't finna connect with the guys.
Right.
So I'm still going to church, and an opportunity arose where I could talk with my pastor, and I was kind of fearful to talk with him because he kind of shot straight from the hip. And then what shocked me was he was the first Caucasian pastor I've ever had in my life. But he was real, and he was authentic, and I love that about him. And so I pulled him over to the side, like, Pastor, I need to talk to you. And I was just like, I'm struggling real bad. And I was like, my lust has me going down a rabbit hole, and I don't think I'll ever be able to get up out of this. I'm battling with masturbation. I'm battling watching porn. I'm battling sleeping with 15, 20 different women a week. I'm battling. And I'm like, it's hard, and I want to fight. I do not want this lifestyle anymore. And he was like, well, we have cleansing stream, ministry here. And I'm like, I went to that last year. I'm like, Pastor, I can't go to that. And I just started telling him more in depth, like, I'm going to orgy parties and all this. And he's like, you can't talk about that there.
Right.
Because it's women and men here.
Gotcha.
And I just feel like that would have been inappropriate.
Yeah.
And, I wanted to use tact. And I'm like, so as I'm sharing, he's like, you can't talk about that here. And so at that particular point in time, my pastor said, I'm so sorry. We don't have anything here for you.
I appreciate his honesty, and unfortunately, that is the case for a lot of men.
Churches.
Yes, are not equipped.
And so, I didn't lose heart or hope then. I still was going to church consistently. I still was reading my word consistently, but I was still, I wasn't having sex with the 3 to 4 women a day. I was having sex probably 4 to 5 days out the week now.
Okay, so it's tapering off.
It's tapering down.
Okay.
Because I'm reading my word, and I'm going to church. So at this point,
I was about to ask you. You're probably about to answer my question.
At this point, my ex-wife comes back into the picture, and so I started just talking to her a little bit more over the phone, and I would go to her house and see her sometime. We are now friends. We're no more intimacy, no nothing. We just friends now. So she like, this movie came out at the show. She's the only woman, even to this day, that I could go to the show and watch a Christian movie with. So I can come over to her house and watch a Christian movie. And I'm like, all right, let me get up out of here. I'm gone, And so we still did that throughout our being divorced, We're doing something that we have never done before, and we're actually developing a friendship.
I think, bro, what you just said there is powerful for most couples, and they miss out on the opportunity to be their spouse's friend, because you're not going to be laying sideways on top of each other most of the time. Most of the time, you will be in a friendship. Not saying you can't be romantic, but that is the majority, and that part of a relationship is often not developed. So I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah. So I'm enjoying the friendship with her, and I'm realizing now as I'm asleep, right? I'm waking up in the morning now, and I'm waking up, and I'm reaching for her like she's in my bed with me. And I'm like, ain't nobody in the bed with me. And I'm not reaching for just any old body. I'm in my mind reaching for Sean like she's still my wife.
Oh wow!
And so I look up in the sky like, I see what you doing, God. I see what you doing here. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, okay. So I tell her too, like, I would like to give us another chance. And she like, what do you mean? she like, we not finna have sex. And I said, I'm not coming at you like that. I'm like, I'm strongly considering remarrying you if you would like to be remarried. She like, are you serious? I'm like, I'm serious. And so, you know, she like, okay. She like, I'm all for this if you're serious. She was like, don't play with me. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm like, okay, cool. So fast forward a couple of months. I'm still, from time to time, still being intimate with other women because I know I can't, you know, have sex with her. And I'm praying to God now to take this away from me. So this is what shifted. The feeling, the dopamine fix that comes when you have sex and you busting one and you get to that climax, that
release, yeah.
You know, toes curved, you all that, God took that away.
What do you mean?
I'm going through the motions and I'm having sex, but that's just it. I'm climaxing and nothing, no enjoyment.
No high, no
high,
great.
no lows, just having sex.
Oh, wow.
So that happened like 3-4 different times. So I'm like, well, maybe I got to have oral sex. And then, you know, I get it. I did that and nothing. So I'm like, So then I started thinking, I did ask God to help me and take this away. So I'm looking back up in the sky like, did you just take that away? Because it's like, if there is no fulfillment, it's a waste of time.
It's a waste of sin. So
come on, brother.
But what?
Come on.
I've heard people pray like cigarettes or weed.
Yes.
Things like that.
Heard that too.
Take the desire away from me, and God did it. But this is the first time I ever heard someone say God took the pleasure portion of sex away.
He took the enjoyment of that dopamine away from me.
Wow. That is interesting. So now, I mean, you ready to be a holy man because ain't no need to even sin no more.
I mean, so now I'm like, well, if you took this away and I'm going to stop. I'm talking to my ex-wife and we're hanging out and she like, you know what? If we're going to be serious about getting married, I'm going to need you to do something for me. I'm like, what's that? She like, I need you to address your addiction. She was like, your sexual addiction.
Yeah.
I need you to deal with that. Because you're not going to bring this into our marriage. Because she was like, if you try to bring that into our marriage, one of us not going to make it out of the marriage.
Yeah, probably her. You probably going to rip the spleen open. I'm saying
she's basically telling me she was going to kill me.
I'm thinking the hundreds of women you lay with, and now one woman have to deal with that lust. So it has to be corralled. You get what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
So that's the only reason why I said that, because you're not acting in a way that one woman can handle. Most women can handle.
That's true.
That way. But go ahead, brother.
So I prayed, and when she said that to me, I was like, I'm going to church. I'm going to church like 3 times a week. I'm listening to the podcast. I'm reading my word every day now. You know, I'm going to therapy. So I'm doing all the things on paper. I'm checking boxes off. But I'm realizing what she said, I wasn't really addressing yet. And it just took one bad spell, one bad moment where everything fell, where I'm going back to binging. Because that was my go-to. When things didn't work out with me and my daughter, I go back to binging. If I go to gambling and I lose a lot of money, I go back to binging. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, that was my go-to.
Yeah, that was your drug of choice.
Yes. And I realized that I felt God saying, I'm speaking through your wife and you need to address this. So I felt like God just talked to me one moment in my basement and asked me, how bad do you want a relationship with me?
Come on.
And I'm like, if this God, you know, real bad. So he said, okay. So it was like 2-3 days later, I'm in the shower, getting out, you know, drying off. He like, I need you to go call Ben Chambers. I asked him if they still got that sexual purity group, you know, because he has a big church out in St. Charles, Elgin, that he's pastoring. one of the pastors there. And so I'm like, okay. So I reach out to him, I call him, and I'm telling him like, man, you know, I'm battling with the sex addiction, and I really want to get in the group, and they don't really have anything out here that I can really be vulnerable and, you know, address some things. So he was like, we just started one up, you know, you actually in time. You know, it's been going on for a couple of weeks, but you know, you come. So I'm like, cool. So he's like, so I was like, what's the locations? Because, you know, I'm coming from Gary. Well, he say, the one closest to you is St. Charles, Elgin. So I'm like, well, give me the address. Let me see how far that's away from me. And it was like an hour and a half, an hour and 45 minutes. So he's like, can you come? I was like, yes. He's like, really? I'm looking at the phone. Did you see that? He's like,
so that goes back to that question.
How bad do you want a relationship with me?
Yes.
And instantly I was like, yes, you know.
You know what's funny about what you're saying? Not to cut you off, brother. It just made me think about if a job tell us they're going to pay us a certain amount of money, we're willing to travel an hour and a half, 45 minutes to chase that paper. Even a woman that we really want to have sex with, we'll go that extra mile. We'll go out of the city. Yeah, we're crazy like that. But when it comes to God, and we be like, oh man, I don't go to church because the parking is crazy, or we have these crazy conditions, like you're saying. And so it's funny that now he's challenging you on how bad did you want it. So go ahead, my brother.
So he asked me how bad do I want them, and I'm speaking with the guy, and he said, this is all we got. Do you want me to send you the form? So I'm like, yes, send it. So I signed up for it, and my next call is to Sean. And I'm like, babe, I just signed up to go to, it's called Care Night. And I just signed up for sexual purity class. And she was like, where? I was like, St. Charles, Elgin. She's like, really? And I'm like, yes. And so the day comes, and the guy called me. And he like, where you at? And I'm like, I'm on my way there. He like, okay. So he like, I just want to talk to you while you driving. You okay with that? I'm like, sure. So he like, how long you gonna come? I'm like, how long y'all gonna have it open? And he's like, every week. I'll be here every week. He like, okay. You know, because I was normally one foot in, one foot out. Mm-hmm. I wasn't consistent. And he knew that about me because he was actually a reverend at the church that I left, that me and Sean was at. So he knew about my one foot in, one foot out throughout my whole marriage and stuff like that.
And I want to ask you something, because I feel like this is a lot of men hear about this type of things but don't participate. So how did this treatment help you? What did it look like that really helped you? What was going on?
Sometimes men need to see the end of the road.
Okay.
So you got other brothers there sharing that, man, I'm at the last end of my rope. If I don't kick this habit or beat this or conquer this, I'm finna lose my family. So I'm hearing men say, this is my last straw. And I'm like, whoa.
Wake up call.
So I'm realizing now that I can be vulnerable because they're all being vulnerable, right? And I can be honest. I realized the importance of James chapter 5 verse 16, confess your faults one to another so that you can be healed.
Yes.
A lot of time we just want to confess our faults to people but guess what? They not praying for us.
No, they just gossiping.
See, the end of it's comma, then it says the fervent, effectual prayer of a righteous man availeth much. So there got to be some praying. There got to be, let's take all this and give it to God.
Absolutely.
Let him deal with that. So it's important. I started seeing the importance of discipleship. I started seeing the importance of accountability. I started seeing the importance of being responsible. And I'm doing my homework and I'm going. And what I liked about these guys started having like a little group call every morning.
Okay.
And so they put me in the group chat text, and then I got on the group calls in the morning with them. And so we all there, on the Google Meet call, and they was like, y'all, I gotta confess, I had a day where I lapsed yesterday. A girl was drinking water at the water fountain, and I kind of saw her breasts while I was gawking, so I wasn't pure. So I have to start over. And I'm like, oh, y'all serious?
You ain't even touch her.
Then another guy was like, yeah, I have a day where I wasn't pure. A girl was, bending over, and I saw she had a thong print. I'm just staring at her, and I got a little aroused. Oh, y'all
Man,
Y'all keeping it a buck in here.
it sounds like 98% of the men in this world need to be in there.
So I'm sitting here like, I can do this.
Okay.
Because I'm like, this authentic right here.
And there's integrity involved. I like that.
And I mean, I'm like, God, I'm all in. And it's like, from that point, I started pushing that ball up the hill, if you will, you know. And I realized that I wasn't alone now. And there were moments where I woke up slightly aroused and wanted to grab my phone and make a call. I know she'd get here in like 30, 45 minutes. And right when I'm almost finished dialing the number, it's like God was like, if you go through with that call, you're gonna have to call all your brothers. Then you're gonna have to call Sean. Then you're gonna have to call Reverend Chambers, and you're gonna have to tell them what you done did. So go right ahead. So I put the phone down, and I was like, thank you, God. And I put a praise and worship song on. I put the word on, and I was like, thank you, Lord. Like, it's a scripture that says he's a very present help in a time of trouble.
Yeah.
And I started realizing that God was like, these thoughts that come, these urges that come, I want you to start reading my word and putting a scripture on each and every one of them. So when they come, you put the word on it. Because he say, what did Jesus do when he got tempted? I'm like, he gave him the word. That's what I need you to do. Because these temptations are going to come.
Yeah.
But that's why you got the shield of faith.
Yes.
The shield of faith is to put the word on it.
Yes.
And it quenches the fiery darts of the enemy. So I'm like, okay.
How did you know, and this is for some of the brothers here, when that thing had broke? When you was free from it? What was signs of that?
If I could
And how long it took?
If I can be a little candid, 2-3 months into me going, I'm gonna say a month and a half into me going to the care night in St. Charles, Elgin, me and Sean had actually started back being intimate, and she needed hip surgery. And I realized that it was painful for her. And she was telling me that it hurts, but, you know, because I'm not doing nothing with anybody else, she's like, I'm going to endure it. And part of me wanted to say that, you know, we was married before. So in God's eyesight, we not really divorced. So if I'm going to sleep with anybody, it should be her.
Wow. Satan always finds a way to justify sin.
Come on, brother.
He does. And it makes sense. It's not like he's saying something crazy to you. He's going to say something that makes sense so you can keep doing it.
Yeah.
But go ahead, brother.
And I'm realizing, like, yeah, you right. We were married, and, you know,
we wasn't even divorced, really.
God said he married to the backslider. I'm saying I done twisted all these scriptures to, I mean, hey, if you want to justify your sin, you can find the scripture to do it.
Absolutely. I've been there.
I am one of those to say that.
Yes, I've been there too, brother.
So I realized that I was like, you know what? It was just something that just wasn't sitting right. And I started realizing I'm discipling brothers now. I'm talking to brothers now, and I'm witnessing a lot about this. And if I could just go back briefly, you asked me what was the shift that started. It was a brother, his name is Nick, and we used to actually, he actually helped fix my parents' house up after my father had passed in 24. And I used to actually talk with him regularly. And he's a thinker, right? And he talks about you know, he's kind of like knowledgeable about a lot of stuff, right? But as far as that Bible, I'm gonna say he's probably not as knowledgeable as he would probably want to be, and he acknowledges that. But he did say he read it before. He like, I read the whole book. I'm like, it ain't just a book, brother. I'm like, it's 66 books.
Right.
You know, you read all 66. So just talking with him and sharing with him, I'm witnessing to him, right? And so one day he like, you know what, LT, I like you, brother. He like, man, let's go out to a club, my treat. You can drink whatever you want, you know, I got you. He like, just come pick me up. So I pick him up and we go. So he got me a couple of beers. And so I'm like, I'm about good. I think I might have had one more beer. So he like, man, Shorty look like she feeling you over there. So he like, man, go, you know.
Shoot your shot.
Yeah. So I go shoot my shot, you know. So man, he like, they go another one right there, let me see what you're working with. So, that was about it for the night. I dropped everybody off and everything. And so the next day came, he back working at my parents' house. And then I'm still trying to witness to him again. He say, bro, no disrespect. He say, I don't want to hear nothing about your Jesus no more. I'm like, why? What's the problem? He like, bro, you do the same thing I do. He like, there's no difference. You drinking, you hollering at women, you apparently trying to F around, and he finished that word out. Right. He was like, I'm good on your Jesus. Wow. He said, you don't believe the Jesus you trying to preach to me about.
Wow.
And I was just like, bro, I felt like it was the egg in my face.
Jeez.
And I was like, oof. Wow. And so when he said that, what came to me is, if he died, his blood was going to be on my hand. That's just how I felt, really convicted. And so from that point on, I was like, God, I'm chasing after you for real, for real. And so now fast forward a few months later, my wife and I, well, my ex-wife still, we're being intimate, but I'm going to these classes in St. Charles. And now my conviction is getting stronger now, to the point, I get that I cut all these other women off. I get that I'm not masturbating anymore. I get that I'm not watching porn. I get that I'm deleting numbers out of my phone by the boatload. I get that I'm deleting all these videos I done made out my phone. I don't know how to get them out the cloud, but I'm deleting all access that I have out my phone. And I'm talking, and it's like I'm constantly getting stuff out in these groups that I'm going to. And I'm confessing, because I'm like, I'm driving 2 hours there, 2 hours back. This is too far to be driving to sit here and just be saying kumbaya.
Right.
I'm driving this far to talk,
right,
to share, to confess, because what I want back in is God's love, God's peace. I want the fruits of the Spirit poured back into me. You know what I'm saying? I really want to be authentic now when I talk to brothers.
Yeah.
And so I'm at that point now, so I'm realizing that I pull my ex-wife to the side, and I'm like, you know what? This was like November 15th, November 19th, November 20th, something like that. I'm like, babe, I don't want to have sex anymore until we get married. I'm not going to touch you inappropriately. I want to see you now as a sister in Christ. I'm like, that's the one thing that we did wrong when we first got married. I don't want to do the same thing we did and expect different results. That's insanity.
Yeah.
So I was like, I got to be responsible and accountable. So she like, thank God that you finally got it. So I'm like, okay, babe. Cool.
Fair enough.
She like, I've been feeling like that. And I'm like, then go with it. If
right.
But that's neither here nor there. So I'm like, okay. So she like, you're not gonna sleep in the bed with me? No.
Absolutely not.
Cause if little Johnny get up, he gonna get the walking. So I'm like, no. I'm gonna see you as a sister in Christ. Period. So when I was spending the night over her house, I slept in a separate bed. And I didn't want to go around her with just my underwears on. I didn't want to see her naked anymore. I didn't let her see me naked. I totally wanted to respect her as my sister in Christ. And so that was in November. I did not have sex or anything inappropriate, no sexual immorality. I didn't bring that anymore to my marriage. And we got married in August last year.
Wow, congratulations first
Thank
off,
you, bro.
brother. Yes,
Thank
sir.
you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
But one thing I heard, and I want to make sure I heard this correctly, it sounded like the sacrifices you made wasn't necessarily just for your wife. That was sound like more of a byproduct, but you was doing this because you really had fell in love with Jesus and you wanted to please him.
Yes, that is 100% true. I started realizing that he was talking to me in my dreams. He was talking to me throughout the day.
Yeah.
I started realizing that 1-2 verses a day wasn't enough. It started growing to a chapter a day. It started growing to 4-5 chapters a day. Some days it'd be 10-15 chapters a day. To the point I want to watch now Christian movies. To the point now, God like, just stop watching TV altogether now. Now I want you to get into this word.
Yeah.
Now I want you to watch YouTube videos where they're breaking down scriptures. Now I want you to get hungry for all these podcasts that your church has did. Go watch them all. And start breaking them down. And some of them so good, watch them twice.
So
and
let the word dwell richly in
yes.
you. You actually lean into that. Now let me ask you something, brother, and this is a real question. how is your appetite? Do these things still come up? Do you still have desires? And how do you deal with them, if you do?
My appetite is actually, to be honest with you, is nowhere near what it was. Like, I've actually have went a month or two where we've only been intimate 2-3 times. Sometimes no time. Maybe once or twice. I'll say that.
Okay.
And again, my wife has just had hip surgery, so
Understood.
I had to curtail it. You know,
Right.
she was just like,
Right.
I really can't do nothing, babe.
Right.
So I was like, God, give me a spirit of chastity.
Yeah.
And I realized since I just came out of 9 months, I'm like, what's this month or what's a couple of months?
Right.
For her to get healed.
Yeah.
So he really truly has curtailed that. But I realized too, I have a group of men around me that I consistently talk to. That's key.
Yes.
That's key. Hey, I'm struggling right now, and hey, brother, let's talk. And they'll stay on the phone for an hour and a half, or you know what? I'm finna come pick you up, or meet me here, at the bowling alley, or meet me here. Let's get something at Denny's, and we talk.
No doubt.
And I'm realizing too, I'm sharing while I'm on these Zoom calls. I'm on like 3 to 4 Zoom calls a week.
What would you say to a brother that's struggling with lust, perversion, whatever it is? They want out, but don't think they can. What would you tell them to start?
Start with being honest with God. Tell God you love sin. And tell God specifically the sin that you love. And say, God, I want you to open up a door where I can love you wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
And I believe in being honest with God, because it says that we are naked and open unto him. So since we're naked and he's looking at us anywhere, be back honest with him.
Yes.
Don't treat God like he a trick. Don't treat God like he a simp.
Right.
You gonna play yourself.
Yeah.
So I believe in being first and foremost, just keep it a buck, keep it 1,000. Just say I'm a wretch undone. It's one thing to look at what other people gonna say in those quiet moments. If you got to get in your closet, if you got to just say it in your car, just keep it. Be honest with God.
Yeah.
And start with reading. My therapist told me this for like a couple of years. Read 1 verse a day until you get to the point where you want to read 2 verses a day. And that 1 verse a day got me to where I'm at right now.
Glory to God. Well, listen, guys, I hope my brother said something to motivate you guys to overcome whatever may be holding you back. And always, when you plug in right here, you best believe we're going to be here to say what the church won't say. Till next time. You are plugged into what the church won't say. Where my brother forgot the line. So that's why it's a delay. Blooper reel.